Hello and welcome to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm your host Sam, watching daily immigration news, where we bring you the latest updates on immigration and global politics. Let's get into today's headlines. Trump wants to end income tax and tax foreign countries instead. PM Modi to visit White House in February, strengthening US-India relations, says Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy explains leaving DOGE role, says it was a smart move for his gubernatorial run. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to visit White House on February 4, invited by Trump. Tom Homan responds to Selena Gomez's emotional video on ICE raids, said no apologies. Trump administration freezes $50 million in foreign aid, including condoms for Gaza. Caught to hear lawsuit over Prince Harry's US visa records. Trump administration welcomes podcasters and influencers to White House press briefings. Trump offers buyouts to federal employees for voluntary resignations by February 6. Judge blocks Trump's freeze on federal grants and loans for now. Authorities identify gunman and victims in deadly shooting at Indiana supermarket. So these were some of the headlines, and now get into the details. Trump wants to end income tax and tax foreign countries instead. Well, US President Donald Trump has proposed ending income taxes for American citizens. Instead of taxing people's earnings, he wants to tax foreign countries through tariffs on imported goods. Trump argues that this would increase money for US citizens and help boost their income. He points out that between 1870 and 1930, the US was wealthier when it used tariffs to generate revenue instead of relying on income taxes. This idea is aimed at reducing the financial burden on US citizens and focusing on foreign imports for revenue. However, this plan would significantly change the way the country raises money. PM Modi to visit White House in February, strengthening US-India relations, says Trump. US President Donald Trump has announced that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit the White House in February. During a phone call, both leaders discussed topics like trade, defense, and also immigration. Trump emphasized the importance of strengthening ties between the US and India, including expanding defense cooperation and fair trade. This visit is seen as an opportunity for both leaders to improve their relationship and also collaborate on global issues. Vivek Ramaswamy explains leaving DOGE role, says it was a smart move for his gubernatorial run. Vivek Ramaswamy responded to claim he was pushed out of his role at the Department of Government Efficiency. He said leaving was a mutual decision because he wanted to focus on running for governor of Ohio. Ramaswamy explained that his skills in law and government would be more useful in an elected office. Despite host Charlemagne questioning him, Ramaswamy denied being pushed out and praised Musk's leadership. He also expressed his support for Donald Trump and his desire to make real changes as a governor. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to visit White House on February 4, invited by Trump. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that the US President Donald Trump has invited him to visit the White House on February 4. This will be Netanyahu's first visit to Washington in Trump's second term and marks him as the first foreign leader to visit. The visit comes as the US pressure both Israel and Hamas to maintain a ceasefire in the ongoing war in Gaza. During the meeting, Netanyahu is expected to seek support for military aid and pressure on Iran while emphasizing his long-standing relationship with Trump. Tom Homan responds to Selena Gomez's emotional video on ICE raids, said no apologies. Tom Homan, former border czar under President Donald Trump, has responded to Selena Gomez's emotional Instagram video where she cried over the impact of ICE raids on immigrant families. In the video, Gomez expressed her sadness and frustration over the treatment of children and families during these raids, saying she wished she could do more to help. In his response, Homan defended the ICE operations, clarifying that the raids are focused on illegal immigrants with criminal histories. He stated that the Trump administration has no apologies for these actions and that those who disagree should work with Congress to change immigration laws. Homan emphasized that these operations are aimed at making communities safer. Gomez, who is known for her support of immigrant rights, has previously spoken out on the struggles of immigrant families, including sharing her own story of crossing the US-Mexico border in the 90s. She has been vocal about using her platform to advocate for those who are affected by immigration issues. The Trump administration has frozen $50 million in foreign aid, including funding for condoms in Gaza. A White House official explained that the funds were not in line with the president's priorities. The freeze affects most foreign aid, but exceptions were made for Israel and Egypt, with emergency food and military assistance continuing. The freeze follows reports that condoms sent to Gaza were misused by militants to create explosive laden balloons, which were used to target Israel. This action is part of the Trump administration's efforts to ensure that foreign aid aligns with US policy goals. Next is court to hear lawsuit over Prince Harry's US visa records. A lawsuit about Prince Harry's US visa records is going to court. The Heritage Foundation, a group in America, wants to see if Harry lied about using drugs when he applied for his visa. In his book Spare, Harry admitted to using drugs like cocaine and marijuana. US immigration laws require people to say if they have used drugs when applying for a visa. If someone lies, they could be deported. The Heritage Foundation thinks Harry might have hidden his drug use or gotten special treatment. The court will hear the case on February 5, 2025. President Donald Trump has said he would not protect Harry if it's found that he lied on his visa application and that Harry could face deportation. This case raises questions about how strict US immigration laws should be for everyone, including famous people like Prince Harry. Trump administration welcomes podcasters and influencers to White House press briefings. The Trump administration is opening up the White House press briefing room to podcasters, influencers, and other content creators. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, the youngest press secretary ever, said this move is designed to reach younger audiences who rely on social media and podcasts for news. A new media seat will be introduced, allowing independent journalists and content creators to apply for White House press credentials, providing them direct access to official briefings. Trump offers buyouts to federal employees for voluntary resignations by February 6. In a bold move to downsize the US government, President Donald Trump has offered federal employees 7 months of salary if they choose to leave their jobs voluntarily by February 6. This decision aimed at shrinking the government workforce. This could lead to major disruptions in essential federal services from healthcare to food safety inspections. Critics, including union leaders, argue that this creates pressures for workers to leave, especially those seen as not loyal to the administration. This plan could have significant consequences on the country's operations, affecting millions of people. Judge blocks Trump's freeze on federal grants and loans for now. A judge has temporarily stopped the Trump administration from freezing federal loans and grants that were already set to be given out. This means that the money that was about to be distributed will continue for now, but no new funding will be approved. The judge's decisions last until at least February 3, 2025. The freeze was part of a plan by the Trump administration to review and possibly cut funding for certain programs. Groups like the National Council of Nonprofits said the freeze would hurt their work and violate people's rights. The judge's ruling does not stop the freeze on new funding or restore funding that was already cut. Some states are also planning to challenge this freeze. Authorities identify gunman and victims in deadly shooting at Indiana supermarket. In a tragic incident at Martin's supermarket in Elkhart, Indiana, authorities have identified the gunman and the 2 victims who were killed in a shooting. The gunman, 54-year-old Juan M. Sanchez, opened fire at the store on Monday afternoon, killing 49-year-old Benjamin Jeffrey, a customer, and 19-year-old Anna Sue Rocha, who worked at the store. Sanchez was confronted by police outside the supermarket, where he fired at officers in response. Police shot and killed him. 2 officers were injured in the confrontation. One of the officers, patrolman Ethan Pasternak, is in stable condition at the hospital. Sanchez had recently moved to Elkhart from Illinois. Authorities are still investigating the motive behind the attack and collecting evidence. The Elkhart community is in shock, and local authorities have promised to thoroughly examine all aspects of the incident to understand what led to this tragedy. Well, that's all for today's update. If you found this video helpful and informative, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you daily news on immigration and global politics, so stay tuned and stay connected. Thanks for watching.